Pecan shortbread cookies. Let's make them. So, to start, I have 3 sticks of room temperature unsalted butter. We're going to add 1 cup of sugar. We need to cream this all together. If you want to use a hand mixer or a stand mixer, by all means, go for it. I've started to notice that the creaming the butter and the sugar together is really important, because if you don't do it, your sugar can give your cookies a more slightly grainy texture. And so take the time to cream your butter and your sugar together. So I'm adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I use pure vanilla. And then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of almond extract. Now, you could have added the almond and the vanilla together at the same time, but I wasn't done working my butter and sugar together. My arm got sore, so I was just giving myself a little rest. I used pure almond extract as well, and my goodness, it smells good. We're gonna set this aside for just a minute. In a medium bowl, we're gonna mix together 3½ cups of flour. 1, 2, 3, and 1/2. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I'm just gonna give this a quick little whisk. I probably could have used a bigger bowl. Now I'm going to work this into our butter sugar mixture. I'm gonna do about 1/2 at a time just to make it a little easier on myself and to avoid massive flour clouds. Make sure you're getting all your flour off the side of your bowl. Now, it's a seemingly crumbly dough, but that's okay. Don't worry. Make sure you scrape down to the bottom, because there might be some flour hanging out down there. All right, once your flour is all mixed in, set that aside for a moment, and we are going to need 1½ cups of chopped pecans. Now, I think you want relatively small pieces, and I'm content with the size of these. One. And 1/2. All right, now get your muscles warmed up. We're gonna fold in our pecans. All right, once you can see that your pecans are evenly distributed throughout your cookie dough, I'm going to dust my surface here because we're going to put our cookie dough on there, and we don't want it to stick. So even if it's coming out in pieces like mine is, get it all out onto the counter. You can go ahead and use your hands, and we're going to form this into a flat disc shape. You can absolutely play with your food. Oh, it doesn't have to be this big. I was worried about how we have to wrap this in saran and put it into the fridge, and I was like, how am I gonna get a big fat disc of dough wrapped up? It can be a small disc. Look at that. That's beautiful. Can't imagine a more beautiful thing. Okay, I'm gonna get some saran. A big old piece. I don't even know if mine is big enough. And we're gonna wrap our dough. It doesn't have to be perfect, but there is a purpose behind wrapping it. We don't want it to dry out. And then we're gonna place this in the fridge for 30 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and preheat my oven to 350 degrees. I have my dough out of the fridge. I'm gonna give my counter a good flouring. Just don't want it to stick. Just don't want our cookie dough to stick. We're gonna take our handy dandy rolling pin, AKA wine bottle. If you have a rolling pin, even better. But I like to work with what I have. So we're going to roll this into a half inch. Whoa. I'm gonna pack mine together a little bit. We want this to go down to a half inch. It is possible that my dough is a little more crumbly because I may have used a little bit more flour than needed, but it will be okay. I think there's plenty of butter in here that we will make it. Feel free to get your ruler out. Almost there. Now, this is an Ina Garten recipe, and the video I watched of her making these, it looked like she was using a round cookie cutter or a biscuit cutter, and you can just cut this into squares. You can cut this with whatever cookie cutter you want. I think I'm just gonna cut mine. I like the thought of squares because you don't normally get square cookies. And I'm gonna go with about 2.5 inch squares. And then I'm just gonna push aside the round edges and we will work with those later. All right, now I have my baking sheet here, and these are not going to spread out all that much. So it's okay to put them a little closer together. So I just have mine about 1 inch apart. Unfortunately, my microphone died here, but I've got you guys. So I only have one pan. The rest of my dough I'm going to deal with later. But again, our oven is preheated to 350 degrees. And we're going to bake these for 20 to 25 minutes or until the edges are golden brown. So we can come back to our leftover dough and you can kind of play with it like Play-Doh. I'm just gonna piece together all of my remaining dough. Again, I'm gonna make sure that it's the same thickness as my other cookies so that they bake evenly. And then once my baking sheet frees up, we'll bake the rest of our cookies. Okay, this spread out a little more than I thought. It's been 20 minutes. I'm gonna put them in for 2 more minutes because they're not very golden around the edges. We're getting there. I'm gonna do another 2 minutes. All right. Now for aesthetic purposes, I'm taking my metal spatula and making them square. It's like they have little bellies that we're gonna push back in. If you have round ones, this won't be a problem. Unless you want them to be perfectly round, then you can do whatever you want. I think I could have left them maybe 1 more minute for goldenness purposes, but it is what it is. I'm gonna see how stable they are. Oh, uh-oh. I'm gonna let these cool. I'm really worried that I put too much flour in them and now they're crumbly. So I'm gonna let them cool to room temperature. I'm not even gonna worry about putting these in until these are cool. All right. These have cooled completely. And so now I'm going to make another attempt to get them off the cookie sheet. Now, in addition to waiting for them to cool, I'm gonna get a fatter spatula. Pancake flipper time. I also looked, oh, that's better. I looked at the comments on this recipe, which I highly recommend doing anytime you are using a recipe off the internet. Even like my videos, if you watch my videos. Look at the comments from people who have made the recipe. There were other people who said it was too crumbly, and so some people added milk by like the tablespoon until their cookie dough came together. Now I mentioned that the dough was crumbly, but we could still form it into a ball and it cut into our squares and everything. Also, it's a dry time of year for me, and I kind of eyeballed that last half cup of flour. I put these, I literally sprinkled a little bit of water on top of these, and then I put some saran over the top of them so they did not dry out even more while I was waiting for my baking sheet to free up. So now I will put these in the oven, and then we'll give these a taste test. All right, let us give these a taste test. So they do hold up. Let's see how crumbly they are. Oh, no, mine are a little chewy. Okay, all right. Chewy. These are perfect tea, coffee, or hot chocolate dunking cookies. As you bite in, there's a little bit of a crispiness, but still chewy on the inside. I'm glad mine stayed together because some people said like even eating them was a crumbly mess. So definitely keep them on the thicker side when you roll them out. Subtly sweet, that almond extract shines through. It's not overpowering, but it's nice. It complements the pecans well. Definitely a dunking cookie in my opinion. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more cookie videos from me, go ahead and check out one of these two on screen, and I will see you there.